Mr. Worf. You know him, you love him. He's a great warrior, the first Klingon in Starfleet, and of course, his own grandfather. In fact, Mr. Worf was so beloved that after The Next Generation ended, they moved into Deep Space Nine. Well, the Next Generation TV show ended, but they were still making next-gen movies, and this created an interesting problem. Any movie with the Enterprise crew had to include Worf. He's an essential part of that cast. But he's off getting married and fighting a war on Deep Space Nine at that same time. This means they had to find a new excuse every time for why Worf is on the Enterprise when he doesn't work there anymore. And these excuses got flimsier and flimsier with every movie. And I am obsessed with them. Worf has a very good excuse to be on the Enterprise in Generations. He hasn't left yet. Generations started production right after the Next Generation series finale. Like, the next day. They just turned off half the lights on set and said, "It's a movie now." Generations released about a year before Worf appeared on DS9. So we get to see him promoted to Lieutenant Commander, and it's just the best part. He probably does other stuff in the movie, but this is the part that I remember.
Set royals at stunsail.
What's a stunsail, sir?
See that last yard arm? Just above that is
to holodeck 3.
We're never going to find out what a stunsail is. We gotta just live with that. So First Contact is the first time we see the Enterprise crew after Worf officially leaves. And, oh my god, he's actually not there. We get a little ways into the movie without even a mention of our special guy. We don't actually see Worf until after we see the Defiant. The Defiant is in the movie. It's a DS9 movie. It counts. The Enterprise beams up the crew of the Defiant before Worf can crash the ship into the Borg cube.
Tough little ship.
Little.
Then the plot immediately takes them from the battle to the past. So Worf has to stay to protect history. And when I say history, I don't mean Zefram Cochrane and First Contact. I mean this important historical moment.
Assimilate this.
The writers really went above and beyond to get Worf into the movie through a reasonable crossover with Deep Space Nine. Well done. Insurrection. This one, okay. We are on the Enterprise for less than 2 minutes before Worf appears, and this is the entire explanation.
Mr. Worf,
Worf.
what the hell are you doing here?
I was at the Manzar colony.
He's a little late, Jordy. Can I wait?
I don't think so.
When I heard you was me.
He explains it, we just don't get to hear it. I think it's just as likely that a full, reasonable explanation about the Manzar colony was written, but cut out to keep things moving. And even if he had offered a detailed and reasonable explanation on screen, it wouldn't have really made any difference. Some stuff happened, and now Worf is on the Enterprise. There is then one more line of dialogue where Picard says he'll ask him to hang out and be TNG Worf again, for no explicitly stated reason. It is a situation involving Data, who is a mutual friend. I guess that works. It fulfills the need to get Worf back on the Enterprise, but just barely. They just needed somebody to say, "Mr. Worf, what the hell are you doing here?" to establish that they know he's not supposed to be there. However, we should not dismiss those first 2 minutes on the Enterprise before Worf shows up. This scene establishes what Picard and the Enterprise have been doing while all that stuff with the Dominion War has been happening in Deep Space Nine. The short version, and I guess the only version, is that while the rest of the fleet is dealing with the Dominion, the Enterprise is taking care of all the minor diplomatic problems within the Federation. Is it the most realistic Starfleet strategy? Maybe not. But the reason I care about why Worf is there isn't about continuity so much as context. With all the big stuff happening in DS9, I like to know where Picard and the Enterprise fit into events. As long as that's established, honestly, Worf could just be there with no explanation, and I don't think I would mind. Nemesis. Worf is just there with no explanation, and it turns out I do mind. So Nemesis released after the end of Deep Space Nine, and at the end of that show, Worf does leave the station for a new job as an ambassador to the new Klingon High Chancellor. He doesn't necessarily leave Starfleet, but it's a more diplomatic role than what we've ever seen. And we never will, because after only a few years, he's back on the Enterprise. I've always run with the idea that he was there for Riker and Troy's wedding and got swept up in the Romulan stuff because he was around. Whatever the reason, it's never addressed in the movie at all. It just pretends he never left. However, the filmmakers have spoken about a much longer version of the wedding scene at the beginning of the movie. As far as I know, this extended wedding scene has never been released, but it turns out you can just read screenplays online. So I can confirm that yes, it was supposed to be addressed. During the wedding reception, Dr. Crusher says to Worf, "I'm so glad you're back on the Enterprise." And Worf says, "I was not suited for the life of a diplomat." And that's it. That's the full explanation. He's back. Now, an unused scene in a screenplay is absolutely not official canon. Not any more than the deleted scene about Wesley Crusher being back in Starfleet that is thankfully contradicted in newer series. But it stands to reason that Worf was written in the movie with that in mind. The next time we see Worf wouldn't be until Picard Season 3, the real last Next Generation movie. I won't spoil anything, but I think 20 years is enough of a gap that he could be pretty much anywhere at that point. Ultimately, I'm not trying to make any broad judgments on these movies. I think they're all genuinely good films, but I really delight in the increasingly flimsy ways they resolve this one inconvenient problem.
Captain. Mr. Worf.
Worf.
What the hell are you doing?
Oh, I did also look up the screenplay to Insurrection, and while there isn't any extra explanation for Worf being there, I was so excited about this bit of cut dialogue from that same scene. Picard asks, "How's your bride?" And Worf responds, "A challenge." Picard says, "That's the greatest compliment a Klingon can pay his wife." Considering the movie didn't release until partway through the final season of DS9, I understand why it was cut. But I think that's an important reminder that even though Worf has been a central character on 3 different series, he will always be, at his core, a Deep Space Nine character.